welcome to Viewpoint. My name is Volodymyr Solohub, and right now I'm joined by the Deputy Justice Minister, Mr. Gia Getsadze. Mr. Getsadze, welcome to Viewpoint.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Mr. Getsadze, let's begin with the most recent events. Just a few days ago, the Ministry of Justice decided to make the registries of private property owners open for public. Can you tell us what was the main reason behind opening of these registries for public access?
Thank you for a question. Because we now are trying to implement anti-corruption reforms in our ministry, it has two main directions. First is transparency, because transparency and openness always helps to identify problems, and also helps, these open registers will be helping on one hand our media and non-governmental organizations, and also on the other hand Anti-Corruption Bureau, Anti-Corruption Agency and other law enforcement bodies to identify the problems concerning state servants and other individuals and owners.
Yeah, Mr. Getsadze, we all know that the corrupt officials, they never register property under their own names. It's either wives or children or parents in the best case scenario, because then you can see the links, or some corporations, corporate shells, offshore companies. How does that help? How will that help you?
Yeah, this is included already in our legislation, that if some individual is already beneficiary, anyway they should be writing about this in the declarations. What it means. If some high-level official is living in some property for 2 or 3 years and says that it's not his property, anyway he is a beneficiary and it should write it down. Okay, and of course,
well,
it will not. I mean, this is not kind of goal which is giving results. This is the small tool for reform of our judiciary and our law enforcement bodies. Whatever we are holding.
How does it help to reform? Is there any responsibility on the part of the government officials who do not declare some property in their tax declarations? There's no responsibility.
Of course, they should be fired, even there is.
Okay, they should be fired.
Yeah.
But this is up to the will of their boss.
Of course. I mean, whatever is depending on us, on Ministry of Justice, we do our job, and others also should be their job doing. I mean, and that's why openness of our registers, and on the other hand, reforms in the field of registration, in the field of enforcement of judgments.
But don't you think that the next step after passing this resolution on opening the registers should be, and obviously this is not the task of the Ministry of Justice, but of the Parliament, to pass the bill which says that if a government official conceals some of its property or provides inaccurate information in tax declaration, this government official should be either fined or fired or even prosecuted.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can add more sanctions for this, but sometimes sanctions are not working if proper people are not doing their jobs in their agencies, you know?
Exactly. I mean, and do you think the MPs will go for it? Because they're the first ones who will be taking the fire on that.
Anyway, I think that our MPs will be voting because last time our Verkhovna Rada is anyway adopting reforming laws. For example, our main laws, 4 laws, which are absolutely changing field of registration, which was fully corrupted before, and now from tomorrow, after these laws will be enforced, all notaries and all self-governments will be registering, and Ministry of Justice just will be holding the register. Another very corrupted field and problematic was enforcement of judgments. And yesterday, our Parliament has already voted for first hearing main laws on reforming of enforcement of judgment systems, which will minimize risks of corruption, and our citizens and businesses will get better services. So, I mean,
yeah, can you talk a little bit more about this changing in the court decisions enforcement system? Because this is something actually which was asked by one of our viewers when we announced that we're talking to you. They wanted to know how you will change the system because it was ineffective.
Absolutely.
Always. It has always been ineffective.
Unfortunately, ineffective, very corrupted. because our bailiffs, they had the salaries 2,000 hryvnias, and they were enforcing cases for millions and millions. And unfortunately, there was a big risk of corruption, of enforcing the case, of not enforcing the case, of delaying of enforcement of case. And that's why we have a very low percent of enforced judgments.
How will you change that?
What we have done, in the future, our bailiffs will have more salaries and bonuses, which will be depending who is it will be depending how good you are working and how good you are doing your job. And some bailiffs will be having,
so there'll be something like bounty hunters,
20,000, 30,000, even 100,000 hryvnia salary. After that, we hope that many lawyers will be taking part in the competitions and will be willing to be appointed as a bailiff. And the second, we are creating parallel system of private bailiffs, and there will be competition. And our citizens will be thinking whom to go.
Well, okay? Yeah, that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
On one hand, motivation, training, transparent procedures of appointment, and competition.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. When are we going to see this?
I hope that Parliament will vote second hearing this month or in November, and from January 1st we will be actively working to set up new system.
Understood. Mr. Getsadze, can we talk a bit about the reforms in the judiciary? I know this is not the area of the Ministry of Justice, but in one of the in the interviews to one of the radio stations recently, you said that the judicial reform is the most difficult one, and I quote this. And is this the reason why nothing, and I mean nothing, has been done to reform the judiciary ever since this reform has been pledged more than a year and a half ago?
I'll try to explain. I think that our reforms in Ministry of Justice, in Ministry of Interior, and other agencies will not have long-term results if judiciary is not reformed and if we don't have new prosecutor's office. Because we will be trying to build small islands of success, and after that they will be they will have some results for 6 or 8 months or 1 year, but after that,
obviously, whenever somebody wants to challenge decisions of these new agents, if somebody wants to challenge the decision of the new police, they go to the court, they bribe the judge, and they have their decision.
Absolutely. That's why very important is that our country's #1 goal should be to create independent judicial system. When our public trusts the judges, because today we have a disaster. Only 5% our citizens trust judiciary.
Yeah, Mr. Getsadze, we are very limited on time. How can we reform the judiciary? There are various thoughts and there are various approaches. Some say that we have to fire all the judges and get the new ones. What is your view on that?
Only to fire judges and appoint new ones is not a good result, because we should be sure that what is the procedure of appointment of judges? Is it transparent? Will our citizens know why the judge was appointed? Which kind of competition through he or she was appointed?
So you suggest changing the system of appointment of judges?
Of appointment of judges and the structure also of judiciary. Because we have very complicated structure and our citizens are always confused.
How do we get rid of the corrupt judges which are currently sitting in the courts right now?
I think that if we change the structure and the system, all judges should be newly appointed.
So basically this
is not firing of judges. This is a changing of the structure.
Understood. Well, it looks like some very interesting thoughts. Mr. Getsadze, many thanks for finding the time to come and talk to us. This has been Volodymyr Solohub of Viewpoint, together with the Deputy Justice Minister, Mr. Gia Getsadze. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.